Morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning chat. It's so good to have you here. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me live. If you are live, we'll give everybody a couple minutes to hear that I'm live. And if you're joining me live, make sure you say hi. I love to know that you're here. Hopefully Facebook will show me the comments, but I'd love to know that you're actually watching and that you're actually seeing this. If you are watching it, please share it. Share it and tag people, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who you know are in business and are always looking to grow, are always looking to get better at how they are running their business, how they're serving their clients. This is important information, and I think can be a real game changer for a lot of businesses. And what is that information, you ask? Well, today we're talking about client journey. And actually we've this is part of a 5-part series. So for the last 3 weeks, I've been talking about client journey, and we've been talking about the steps of planning out your mapping out your client journey. And today we're talking about step number 3 of a 4-step process for how to map your client journey. So we have one more week, next week. So be sure to join me live next Thursday, 9 a.m. for the conclusion of this series. And of course, this series, all the videos are still available on my Facebook page and even on my YouTube channel. So certainly follow me there if you aren't already. So for those of you who are live, let's dive into this. So just kind of a quick recap in case you did miss the last couple of trainings. So first we talked about the importance of a journey. And the importance is really so that your clients, well, there's several important reasons. that when we get into business for ourselves, we serve our clients really well because it's what we do. We love what we do, and we're going to do a good job, but we don't necessarily think about how we're doing it. So as we get busier and we get more clients, now all of a sudden we aren't able to do as much for our clients because now we're kind of running that gerbil wheel. And so at least I remember when I was getting busier and busier, my clients just kind of got what I had left, which is not the way I wanted to operate my business. Or their experience wasn't going to be consistent because I just couldn't always give the same things. So if I had more time, I would do more. I would be able to be more present. And when I got busy, I just couldn't. So there was a real imbalance there and inconsistency in my client journey, in my client's experience. So that's one thing. The second thing, so the solution to that is to have a well thought out, intentional, planned client journey. Okay, so that's the solution. Now again, so what's that going to do for the client? One, it's going to give them a predictable, consistent, and powerful transformational experience. Okay, so your clients are going to enjoy that, and because of that, they're going to love you and fall in love with you and talk about you to their friends. So that's going to drive referrals, and it's going to drive loyalty. So that's awesome. But let me talk about the big thing that many solopreneurs are dealing with is the stress. The stress of always feeling like, oh my gosh, I gotta serve, oh my gosh, I got this client over here, and I gotta do that, and oh, now I gotta go do this. If you've got a well thought out client journey experience, a lot of that is just part of the process, part of the system. And so you don't have to recreate the wheel every time you have a new client. So when a new client comes in, you don't have to go, oh, now what forms do I have them fill out? What do I have to ask them? How does this process go? Because you know what the process is. So it goes so much more smoothly for you and for your client. And then you can start delegating some of those pieces of your client experience. So the benefits of this are vast, right? So that was just the first training. We talked about that and the value of this. The first step was then identifying the stages. So this was step number 1. And we identified there are many stages that your clients go through. And when I dig in with my clients, in the Scale Your Brand Mastermind, we dig into many stages because we kind of pick it apart a little bit more and really dig into this. For this training, all I want you to worry about is 4 stages, because these are 4 stages that every business has. Marketing, and when you're getting your message out there and trying to attract people, that's the first stage. The second stage is sales. So once they come to you and say, hey, I'm interested, tell me more, all the way through the point of them paying you. Then deliver your service, so when you're actually doing for them what you've promised. And then the 4th stage is nurture. So those are the 4 stages. All right, then the second step that we talked about last week is step 2, consider the journey. So we need to think about what's going on in each of those stages. Okay, so again, marketing, since I just took that off, marketing, sales, service and delivery, and nurture. What's going on in those stages? And so again, we got to break this down so our brains can think about this clearly. The first section we're thinking about is, what are your clients' thoughts and feelings in that stage right then? What is going through their mind? What are the actual words going across their mind and going through their head? What are the feelings that they're having about those thoughts, from those thoughts? So really getting clear on and identifying that. Now here's the thing that we have to remember, is that that changes from stage to stage. There might be some carryover for sure, but what they're going through in the marketing stage when they first hear about you to what they're going through in the nurture stage should be very vastly different, because you have provided that transformation for them in the middle. Okay, so we're first thinking about our clients' thoughts and feelings. Then we're thinking about our reactions to those thoughts and feelings. What are our direct responses to, as a business, to those thoughts and feelings? What kind of message do we want to send them? How do we want them to feel? What action do we want them to take? Just how are we going to respond to that? So that's the second section of this, is what's our desired response, or what's our response and what's our desired action and feelings that we want them to change to. Then once we get that, then we figure out kind of the to-do list. From all those things that we just identified, what are the touch points? Where are they hearing this message that we are trying to deliver them? How are we transforming them and helping them feel differently in this stage? Okay, so that's how we're considering the journey. Today, we're going to talk about step 3. Step 3 is map the journey. So now we're actually going to take the stages. In fact, let's write that up here. Step 1 is identify, I'm going to call that ID, the stages. Okay, so we've got our step 1, our step 2, and our step 3. If you have any questions about any of these 3 steps, or even why the heck this is important, please be sure to put that in the comments so I can come back and answer, because this is important to understand. All right, so let's now talk about what mapping the journey actually looks like when you're doing this. So, going to a clear page here. So now we are talking about map the journey. And this is where it all comes together. Map the journey. This is where it's all going to come together. So, first thing, we know we have our 4 steps. We have marketing, we have sales, we have service and delivery, and we have nurture. So these are our stages. Okay? So that's going to go across the top of our little chart here. And this is just going to be an illustration. We're not going to dive deep into truly when you get the template that I have available. And if you are interested in this template, be sure to put in the comments below, please give me the template. and I will get it to you, because what this does is it's going to talk about everything that we've gone through and that I just recapped very quickly, and give you a place to map this out. And you would actually take, for every stage that you're using, you would actually take a page of this to make your complete map. All right, so there's your stages. Now we have to consider the journey, right? Because that was step 2. So this is 1. Step 2 is consider the journey. So the first things, what do we say, is the thoughts and feelings. And whose thoughts and feelings are they? The clients. This is where we really dig into what are the words that the clients are thinking, how are they feeling. Not what are the words that we're putting on their thoughts and feelings, but if you were to sit down, actually if you were to eavesdrop on a conversation with your ideal client and their best friend, what are the words they're saying? Those are the things that you want to write up in here. All right? So then we have, let's choose a different color. Then we have response and desired action and feeling. All right, so, and again, whose response and who's identifying the desired action and feeling? We are. So this is me. All right, so this is our business. So this is how are we, and these, I want to point out too, these, let me get my orange marker because that's the color I'd like to have right now. These are direct responses to the thoughts and feelings. Once you understand what the thoughts and feelings are, you can figure out how am I going to respond to this. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. Then the last thing is another good color here. What haven't we used already? The last thing is the touch points. All right. So these are all the things that we are thinking about in each stage. So now you've got that. You've got the template that I have emailed you, or that I've sent you, DM'd you. And now we're going to actually start mapping it out. So for every stage, you're going to put one stage on one piece of paper. And you're going to think this through for each stage. So we're going to actually think about the thoughts. What are your clients' thoughts? Well, let's see. Let's give an example. What would be a good example? Who's on here? And let's talk about a good example. So let's talk about okay, we've got a couple options here. If you are live, make sure you say hi. I see there are a few people here. If you're live, say hi, and if you've got a business that this fits for, maybe we'll do a little quick hot seat coaching on this. Because I'd like a really good example that really makes sense here. I can certainly, of course, make it up, but all right. Hey, Stacy, that's funny. I was just thinking about you. Okay, so here we go. That is divine intervention, fate, whatever it is. I was actually just thinking about you as an example. So we're going to talk about your company as an example. So Stacy is a travel agent, an excellent travel agent. If you need a trip, go talk to her. Total Access Travel. But so thinking about Stacy's client journey map in marketing, what are some of the things that her clients might be thinking? All right, let's go. Let's do this. What are some of the things they're thinking? Well, I can't wait to get away. That's one thing. Especially in COVID, oh my gosh, things are opening up and I've got to get out of here. I've got to take a vacation. Okay, so those are some things. They're thinking, is it safe? I can't wait to get out of here, but is it safe? How do I make it safe? They're thinking about where can I go that it'll still be relaxing and not overwhelming with restrictions. They're thinking, well, can't I just use Expedia or Priceline or any of those kind of bargain online things. They're thinking about, I hear about travel agents, but that's got to be really expensive, right? That's for rich people. I don't need that. It's not worth it to me. Um, what else are they thinking? Stacey, if you've got anything you want to add, feel free to jump in the comments. What else are they thinking? They don't want to be taken advantage of. They don't want, they think maybe they're thinking, I'm going to be sold something I don't want. I'm just going to be sold a bill of goods. I'm going to be taken advantage of, and I don't want to be taken advantage of. Or I'm going to have to pay more. I want a bargain vacation. Or I don't want to spend more than I need to. So those would be something in the marketing stage that Stacey's ideal client might be thinking. Now, let me just also back up. Before this happens, okay, yes, yeah, exactly. So let's even get tactical. So, how does working with a travel agent work? Now, okay, so I want to sidebar a couple things. Earlier, I talked about when I do this with my clients, we dig into many more stages than just these 4. And here's a perfect example why. So that's what Stacey just asked. How does working with a travel agent work? Would be probably a little bit further down the road. So when they first hear about Stacey and her company, they're having all these other just kind of the ideas are floating in their head. Then they start going, maybe because of what Stacey has told them and put out there in social media and on a blog or however she's communicating with them, they are now saying, okay, this sounds interesting. How does working with a travel agent work? So that's the benefit of breaking this down a little bit more. Okay, sidebar, come back to the normal conversation. We're just talking about one to try to keep it simple. So yes, how does working with a travel agent work? What are the benefits? Like, tell me why it is a good thing. And there are a lot of great benefits to working with a travel agent. And I have personal testimonies after this last year, so we can talk about that later. So those are the things, so you kind of get what they're thinking. Now we're going to talk about what are they feeling. So they're feeling, let's switch colors. They're feeling excited. They're feeling anxious, because where do I go? They're feeling uncertain. They're feeling, I want this vacation, but how do I know it's going to be the best? They're feeling, which would be a thought, right? They're feeling hopeful. They can't wait to go on vacation. They're feeling, what else could they be feeling? And anybody else that's on live, anxious? Yeah, totally. I might have put that down, but you get the idea. Yeah, totally anxious about a lot of this. Anxious and hopeful. And they can have both feelings at once. But that's why you've got to understand that so that when we move to the next section, we can figure out how to respond to that. So how are we going to respond? Because remember, these are direct responses to this. So what was one of the things that we talked about thinking? What's the value of using a travel agent? So that would be a response. So that's a message. So these responses are generally messages. How am I going to respond? Or excuse me, what's the benefit of using a travel agent? One of the thoughts was, well, why can't I just go book it myself? There's another response. Another response would be, here's how I can help you that the online companies can't. You can have maybe there's testimonials. You've got people who are saying their experience of your value. You can have, there's all kinds of things that we're going to could say to respond to these thoughts and feelings. All right, what's our desired thought and feeling? Well, our desired feeling is trust. Our desired is hope. Our desired is excitement. Our desired feeling is anticipation. Our desired action is that they call us, or that they fill out the form on our website, or maybe they're not ready to buy yet. Maybe they're still thinking longer term, and so maybe there's a freebie that they can get on our list. So those are now the desired actions. So now we know what their thoughts and feelings are, how we're responding, and what we want to do about it. Now we kind of put together our to-do list. Our to-do list are the touch points. So where are they going to get these responses and the desired and to be able to take these actions? Well, websites, usually a good one. Social media, so maybe Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you're using. And that's a whole nother conversation about what to use. I'm sorry, there are more comments. Yeah, so oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about overwhelm. Yes, yes, yes. Overwhelm because there are so many stinking options. So how are you going to respond to that? Like even showing them how to break it down and think about ways that you can respond to that, like a flow chart or questions that you can ask, and maybe that's a freebie, right? So and touch points are now the website. Now they're on the website. There's a free thing that they can download. There maybe you do a blog if you choose to do a blog. Maybe there's blog posts that answer all these. Maybe there's LinkedIn articles that you're writing that answer all these. There are all kinds of ways that you can choose to deliver this message in direct response to their thoughts and feelings. So I hope you see how this is flowing and why this process is so important. Because without this process, and if I'm just out there just serving, I may miss that my potential clients are having these different thoughts that I didn't even think about. I know they might be overwhelmed, but I'm not thinking about them feeling like, are they going to be taken advantage of? And so you can miss a really important part of inviting them to you and helping them feel like you get them, that you understand them. So breaking it down into these easy to map out pieces, like for our brains, like we've got to be able to break this down and see how this flows, knowing what the stages are: marketing, sales, service and delivery, and nurture. And then breaking it down into components: the client's thoughts and feelings, our responses and the desired actions and feelings, and the touch points. If we do that for every single one of these stages, now we know what we have to create and what we have to do to play this out, to make sure that our clients are having the best possible amazing experience with our business. And all the great stuff that we have created in our brand identity and our messaging and that we're promising to do is realized in this experience. Now, I will caution you, you're going to come up with a dream list of what these touch points are. You may not have it all right now, and that's okay. But having that planned out, now you can decide what are your priorities and what do you want to get on first. What do you have to make or create or hire somebody to create for you? Maybe there's videos. Maybe there's a YouTube and you have quick little videos. Maybe you have lives. There's a gazillion different ways that you could deliver these messages in different touch points. All right, so I just took you through one map with the marketing for Stacy, who's a travel agent, and that's her business. Now what she would do is go take that through the sales stage and the service and delivery stage and then the nurture stage. All right, so that is step number 3, mapping the journey. Now next week, we're going to talk about the 4th stage. And this one is easy to think, I don't need this one. But the 4th stage is planning the wow. So if you develop this map based on what you have right now, because it's easy, that's what you know it, you can write it down, what you'll start seeing are some of the gaps, and then we're going to be able to go back in and plan the wow. So I hope that's helpful. Stacey, if you've got any other comments or any other thoughts, feel free to put those in the comment section, even afterwards, and I'd be happy to come back and chat about this more. If anybody has any questions about this, please make sure to put those in the comments as well, and let's talk about it. All right, my friends, well, that's all I've got for step number 3, mapping the journey of the client journey process. I can't wait to see you next week. We'll wrap up this 5-part series and plan the wow so that you can drive loyalty and referrals. All right, friends, have a great week. See you next Thursday. Bye.